Hey everyone, this is Toasty Bits, and this is another first impressions video. I'm gonna do this one live, like the last couple. This one is for Halo Infinite. I got into the Halo Infinite multiplayer technical preview, basically just a beta, and I got to try out arena mode, which at the moment only allows for bots versus bots, so you can't play with other people. There's no matchmaking. So this video is not for the matchmaking side of Halo Infinite. This is just going to be for bots versus bots or whatever. But I do want to talk a little bit about the gameplay and the gunplay, the new weapons and the equipment, stuff like that. There's a couple new mechanics that have kind of changed the way the game plays a little bit. But overall, for anyone that is worried about like the direction this game is taking, is it going to be a good Halo game? Is it going to be bad? Is the multiplayer going to be fun? The answer is it kind of depends on whether if you like are dead set on wanting a classic Halo game, or do you want something that's a little more modern. And this game kind of leans in between the two. I was getting the classic Halo feel, but it was kind of leaning towards a Titanfall kind of game. Not too hard, but because of some of the new mechanics and the older mechanics that are present in the game, all those combined kind of give you like a faster paced multiplayer shooter with some of those, mechanics that allow you to traverse the terrain or the map a little bit differently depending on what you choose. But it all depends. It's all a choice. So you have the choice to pick the grapple shot or not. So a lot of people are probably worried about that and how it affects the multiplayer. Don't worry, it's really fun, and I think it's gonna cause a lot of really fun interactions in the multiplayer. But yeah, speaking of equipment, some of the equipment are pretty fun. I love the grapple shot. The repulsor is really fun, and both of those can offer different ways to move around. You can actually rocket jump with the repulsor basically, and you can use that to push enemies off the map or push them into walls to kill them. You have the drop wall, which is pretty cool. Helps keep you safe for a little bit. You have the overshield, and then you have the camo, which is pretty cool. Some of those are pretty standard Halo mechanics. Some of them are pretty new, but overall the equipment system is looking really nice. Kind of like a throwback to the old Halo 3 system, but with new and improved equipment. Going on to the other parts of the gameplay, there are there's new mechanics, there's old mechanics. It's all kind of combined together. You have the AI scan, which helps you kind of like see around what's spawned on the map, where the weapons have spawned, where the grenades are spawned. You have a mark system, which I really didn't use at all because I was playing with bots, but I feel like that would be really helpful in the multiplayer when you're playing against players. You have, I'm not sure if this was in Halo 5, but you now have the ability to slide if you wanted to, like while you're sprinting. You can also sprint, of course. You can mantle like in Halo 5. You can aim down sights, but it's not like it was in Halo 5 where it's like straight up aiming down sights. It's just kind of like either built into the gun, or if it's like something like the commando or the battle rifle, it does actually have an optic that you can shoot through. So overall for the gameplay, everything kind of just works perfectly. It's really buttery smooth and almost just absolutely perfect. And then combining that with the gunplay, it's actually just probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in multiplayer games. And I don't really play a lot of multiplayer games, but this is probably one of the few multiplayer games that will get me to actually play player versus player. It was that fun. All the guns, for whatever reason, they feel like they're on steroids. They're really beefy, hard hitting. The auto rifle for the first time ever has actually been good in my opinion, except for Halo CE. But just the way that the guns feel, the gunplay, just overall, and then the sound effects, all that stuff, and then the old and the new gameplay mechanics, the way that the multiplayer or just the game is playing in general is it's different, but it's modernized. It's kind of similar to to more modern shooters, but it still has the Halo feel because of the familiar weapons, the familiar layout of maps, stuff like that. So it's possible that if you're like a hardcore Halo fan, you might not like this. You might not like the new mechanics, the return of sprint, the return of the mantle to grab onto ledges. But you still have some of those classic weapons, and you have a lot of new weapons that are actually really fantastic. Honestly, some of these weapons are really, really good, and I can't wait to use them again for the player versus player multiplayer later this week or next week, whenever that actually launches. And then there's the bots, which I think a lot of people know about. The bots are there just kind of like for training purposes, allowing new players to jump into Halo and kind of get used to how Halo plays out and how it feels. And they are pretty fantastic. They have kind of like a range between kind of dumb and kind of smart, but you can always increase the difficulty, which will make them obviously smarter. And they are pretty, they're pretty good target practice, to be honest. They do tend to strafe a lot, so it's kind of hard to hit. They can hit you from pretty far, and if you increase the difficulty high enough, they will kill you almost instantly. Like, it's insane how accurate they are with the sidekick and the auto rifle. Even on the rocket launcher too. My goodness, the number of times that I accidentally grappled into a rocket. It happened once on the live stream from earlier today. But anyways, I think that's going to be it pretty much. This, to me, is a great sign, not only just for the multiplayer, but for the campaign as well. Obviously, the campaign, there are other ways that things can go wrong. If the story and the writing isn't great, then maybe the campaign might be, just awful like the last one was. But gameplay and gunplay wise, I think the game is in one of the best spots possible because it combines all the old styles and the old gameplay mechanics and gives you the option to use newer stuff like the grapple shot, the drop wall, repulsor, stuff like that. So it's either you pick one or the other, and everyone has the choice. So I feel like being able to pick which equipment you start with and the equipment that you use while playing the multiplayer is going to create different situations and kind of keep the game fresh. And I think that's the whole point of having these new mechanics that don't really feel like Halo, but they've been in the game before to some extent, like the active camo and the overshield. But and the drop wall, which kind of used to be the bubble shield essentially, or the energy shield. But I think there's going to be a good amount of people that won't like this and a good amount of people that will like it. It just depends on if you like that more modern gameplay style. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, and hit the sub bell for future video and stream notifications. If you have any thoughts on if you really liked it or didn't like it, let me know for sure.